Hello, welcome to our channel. Today I am again with Mr. Curt Shearer from Washington State in America, who had made Sabah his permanent home.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah, I think
How
so.
about that? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. At least his home. So we did a long video previously about his life story, about how he became Christian, and he shared with us some very important points about how to come out of addiction
Yeah.
and all. That's what. So today I am with Mr. Shearer, call you Kurt,
All right.
mine. Yeah. So today we are going to cover one topic and stay with us because there will be few videos we are going to produce from now onwards. So this channel is going to be a very important channel for all of us. So from here, from the jungle of Borneo, we come to you with Mr. Shearer. Now, let's talk about the spiritual problem in the church today. Especially you have been here for, I think, for about more than 10 years.
Yes.
More than 10 years. So you have seen the problem, the spiritual problem within the church. What do you think is the problem and how do we address it? Can you talk about it in your observation so far after you came here to Sabah?
Sure. Well, I'm not a theologian. I'm not formally trained in anything
Okay.
in those kind of ways. But I know how to read, and I'm a keen observer of people.
Mhm.
Like John the Baptist. He studied human character,
Mm.
human nature, and he learned a lot, and then that led him to be able to approach the people because he had taken the time to see how they act.
Mm.
So in the church, I'm going to it's just my opinion, but I'm going to just go to the very most basic
Mm.
problem that I see of why the church is in the condition that it is. And it's not. I'm not saying I'm not throwing stones at the church, but the Lord told us that we're in the Laodicean condition, and that's the church of the last days. So I was working at the school, the secondary school,
Mm.
or
Yeah, for quite some time.
oh yeah, about 6 years.
Mm.
So I'm watching the students, who are just at that age where they're trying to develop their concept of who am I?
Mm.
And there's a statement in Spirit of Prophecy also that says, in order to be like Jesus, we're going to have to unlearn most of what we learned. So I was trying to get a step ahead of them and help them to avoid having to go through all the pitfalls,
Mm.
all the problems. That's why we have examples in the Bible.
Mm.
So we can see what happened to this person, that person, and we can avoid those things instead of having to go through the same trouble. From a biblical point of view. And there's a lot of errors in that philosophy, self-awareness and things. But if you just take what's right or take what you learn and hold it up to the Bible and Spirit of Prophecy, then you can, derive the good stuff and let the bad stuff go away. So what I'm getting at here is I believe that the whole problem with the condition of the church now is it's very worldly, very well, Bible says we're dead in trespasses and sins. And I think the basic problem is that self has not died. Over and over again, and it's all in my book there, how that the Bible teaches us self must die. I I told that to a man one time, that I was trying to witness to, and I told him the whole problem is self. Self must die, and he was unconverted at the time, and if self dies, he says, who's gonna take care of number one here? And basically, he was expressing the whole problem. Number one, see. So, well, what does it mean to die to self? Well, when we die to self, that means we're letting Jesus take over. We're not dying physically, we're dying mentally, spiritually, And it just simply means surrendering self to whatever the Bible teaches us, whatever Jesus says. We're surrendering to his ways instead of our ways. And so without going into a lot of detail about it, my conclusion is that people don't want self to die, or they don't know how to die to self. And so, self, well, there's a lot of terms for it. There's self-pleasing, selfishness, self-aggrandizement, all these things.
Self-sufficiency.
Self-sufficiency.
That's right.
And so these things all get in the way of Jesus Christ living in us fully, and we living a godly life. When we come in conflict with God's ways, we have to say, okay, I'm going to have to deny myself and do it God's way. So all the opposites of self-pleasing is self-denial, self-abasement, and all these selflessness.
So in other words, the whole issue actually with Christians is that while they want to profess to be Christian, they still cling to other things, worldly things.
Self is still on the throne, yeah.
So they have not died to self.
Haven't died to self.
For Jesus.
And it's a process, I don't claim to be,
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'll be the last person to.
So but this process is a lifetime process. Would you agree?
Yes.
In other words, people can change overnight,
Mm-mm.
and you can't do it instantly.
No.
But a commitment to Jesus is a lifetime commitment. In other words, you got to commit one by one until you are fully committed to Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
And at the same time, it's a moment by moment thing, because the Lord allows trials and trouble to test us. Which way are you going to go? Is self going to rise up, or are you going to submit to me and my principles? So dying to self is opposed to everything. When we're developing, who am I? When we're young people and we're trying to figure out who am I, what's my place in the world, and how do I promote myself to others, and we're developing this concept of self, which is really, it's a figment of our imagination.
That's right.
Well, no, I've been through these experiences. This is my parents. This is where I was born. None of that really matters as far as who self is. Satan comes in and he masquerades as self.
Mm-hmm.
So we think, oh, that's just me. No, it's not. Self is supposed to die. So somebody's come in there and counterfeited who you really are. If you're converted, see, Satan will come in and say, well, I got to do it this way. I got to follow my heart, and all these little, suggestions Satan uses to think, well, this is just who I am. I can't help it. But it's all something that we built up and is reinforced by everybody around us. This is who you are. Well, no. When we die, when we're converted and born again, all that has to die. It goes away, and we're a new person in Jesus Christ. He's living in us. Self is surrendered.
Christian.
Yeah, if when self is surrendered, then who's going to get mad when something happens? The only person that can get mad is self. So you can see by your fruits you shall know them, Jesus said, by their fruits. So when you see people getting angry, you see that they haven't died to self. I'm guilty too. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but we're working on it.
Okay. Okay. You have a final say to our viewers. Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can think about different problems in the church, and why is this happening and why is that happening? And we can lay blame to, the leadership or whatever we want to do. But if each one of us would take the time to understand, study, examine ourselves, and find out, we might just find out that I'm the problem, Don't point at anybody else. I'm the problem. And then if we each do that, the problems are going to go away.
All right. Stay with this channel because we're going to share a lot of thoughts from Curt here. So stay with us, and if you don't mind, please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel because there will be a lot of videos where Curt will share his experience with us. So stay with us.